Wide as the ocean. Today we're talking about wide margin Bibles from Cambridge. Let's take a look at some of the many wide margin Bibles we've got in stock at the moment at the Cambridge Bibles outlet here. Let's get them down to the desk and have a good look. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel then. It's Mark from Burton Bibles, and today we have a plethora, shall we say, of wide margin Bibles. Today I just want to show you some of the things we've got in stock here at the Cambridge Bibles outlet. Some really exciting stuff. I'm going to look at these 6 Bibles today. Just to give you a flavour of what's on offer, but I do have some other bindings. I've got a couple of hardbacks, I've got a couple more in bonded leather and things like that. So let's just take our time perhaps and just go through these and see what amazing things we can discover. So I think what we'll do is we'll have a look at some more current items, which are these three here. These should be fairly familiar to us all if you've got a current sort of wide margin Bible on your shelf from Cambridge. This is the ESV wide margin, and you may well know that Cambridge basically sort of standardized a lot of their translations, the layout and format. So here you have the ESV. This is an enlargement of the Pitt Minion text. Let's just zoom in a little bit more. So this is an enlargement of the Pitt Minion. So it's got that lexicon #1 font, and the typeface looks basically the same whether you're looking at the New King James Version or the ESV here or the New American Standard Bible, etc., etc. So basically all of those more modern translations look the same. Now the King James Version is different because that uses the Concord typeface and the Concord hot letter plates from back in the day in the 1950s. So that's going to look different and always will look different. But here we have an example of the current Cambridge sort of lineup of wide margin Bibles. Now this is a black goatskin leather binding. It has no obvious faults with it, although the binding looks a little bit strange there. There might be a mark or two on the art gilt page edges, but the example is unmarked, the presentation page is unmarked, there's no obvious flaws with it. We've got the two ribbons present and correct. It is a red letter edition. So that's an example of something that you can get here on the outlets at the moment. Now what we'll do is we'll just sort of leave that open perhaps at the bottom, because we'll have a look at this New American Standard Bible wide margin just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. So this also is goatskin, edge-lined, and as you'll notice, it looks basically the same because it's just the translation that's different. Still the lexicon #1, the font size is the same, everything's the same because it's an enlargement of that standard sort of Pitt Minion typeface. So here we have the New American Standard. You get a lovely format with the in the poetic sections of your scriptures. So sort of Job, Psalms, Proverbs, some of the prophets as well, laid out like this. Center column references, lovely bold numbers there. Let's just zoom in a little bit more, and you can see a bit of a comparison there. So the only thing that's different here is going to be the things that are unique to the translation. So the cross references, the cross references, some of the translational notes in the margins and the footers at the bottom of the text on each page will be different, and of course the translation is different too. But everything else remains the same. You're going to get a concordance that is particular to the translation, and you're going to get all of your lined paper. You've got some index pages in the back as well, and you've got your Cambridge Bible maps, and these are the Moody maps in this particular Bible. Everything else is the same between the translations, and again you've got the Moody maps there. Now again, we'll keep this open and we'll now look at the New King James Version. I have a very nice New King James Version wide margin here. This is the Black French Morocco. So it's a little bit stiffer. It's not edge-lined, it's got a vinyl paste down, it's not got the art gilt page edges, but nevertheless, as you can see, once again, if I just zoom out a little bit more, the page layout is essentially the same. So we've got that same font, lexicon #1, and we've got The same layout, centre column references. Again, it's an enlargement of the New King James Pit Minion. Still got all that stuff in the back, so we've got an excellent concordance, we've got the lined paper, and we've got the maps in the back as well. These are the Moody Bible maps again. So once again, all beautiful looking. Now I have actually tested the paper in I have one of these myself. It's a ESV one that I'm currently marking up upstairs in my bedroom, and it takes most pens very well, particularly if you're using sort of very fine sort of Pigma microns or Uniball Unipins. They're my favourite at the moment. It will take most things that you throw at it just fine, because I think it's something like 35 GSM paper in these wide margins, and I believe, although I stand to be corrected, that the paper is the same throughout, just so you know. So there we have it, the ESV, the NASB, and the NKJV. Now I do have some NIVs as well. Here is an NIV wide margin. This is in black French Morocco again, so basically the same as the NKJV. There are some subtle differences, however, with this new international version. Now you'll notice straight away that the text block is different. It is different. That is because this isn't, I don't believe anyway, this is an enlargement of the Pit Minion. I do have a Pit Minion here. Let me just take a quick look. Yes, so the Pit Minion, as you can see, follows the same format as found in those other versions, but this is a older wide margin. So this is the 1984 NIV version, which we'll just check that information on the publication page here. So this text is, this was produced in 1992, and it does indeed follow the 1984 NIV scripture. So this is a format, a typeface of the 1984 NIV. So you do actually get, I do actually really like this layout, and I know a lot of you out there are fans of the 1984 NIV. Let's just zoom in a little bit more. I do like the centre column references. They are really, really clear, as you can see. You know exactly which verse you are looking at. There's also some footnotes. Presumably these are translational alternative renderings, that sort of thing, those sort of notes that are in the bottom. So a really nice layout, and once again you get, if you just sort of compare them, you probably get a little bit more room in the gutter there, don't you? So these margins are really sort of equal all the way around. So that's something to be said for this. The paper again feels very similar, 35-ish GSM, so it should again take most things, but the difference in the back, there's a little ruckling to the page there, but in the back you've got older Cambridge style maps. This one does actually have some damage to the corner of those maps, just so you are aware, and just an index to the maps. A table of weights and measures, I think, precedes this. Yeah. So you're not getting all of the stuff that you get in with those more modern wide margin Bibles, just to make you aware of that. So that is the NIV Bible that I have. I also have one of these, which is, again, NIV in the old style Cambridge box. It is bound in calfskin leather, but this is different. So this isn't the same as what we've seen in this particular one. Let's just get them out there. So there's Psalm 128. This one is very different. This one, I'll show you Psalm 128. This is a different typeface again. Now, it's not an enlargement of the Pit Minion. I think this is an earlier, or well, maybe it's later, I'm not sure, version. So there you go. There's Psalm 128. As you can see, the typeface is different, the font is different, the center column references are all different. We'll just zoom in a little bit, and if I was to show you the Pit Minion, here is the Pit Minion NIV. You will notice straight away when we go to Psalm 128, it's different again. The pagination is all different between these three. So if anybody out there who's a bit of an expert on the NIV can shed some light on it, that would be very much appreciated, because I kind of recognise this one, I don't recognise this one, and of course the NIV Pit Minion I recognise because it's been used by Cambridge for a little while. But the difference between all three, I'm not too sure about, but they're all lovely Bibles. So they're all, this Pit Minion is currently on eBay as it stands in an auction, but these will be going on soon. So if you're a fan of the NIV wide margin, I do have a few that I can list for you, and you can have a go at winning those auctions. Now, I'll show you one other wide margin Bible that we have here. I'll just close that one up. We have an NRSV wide margin. This is the Minster Text wide margin. Again, it comes in a beautiful two-part Cambridge case. It does have a little bit of box damage on it, but not much. Now this one is really, really nice. This is Cabra bonded leather, which is a really good quality bonded leather that Cambridge used for many years. Now the thing about this NRSV Minster Text is it's so slim. It's about an inch thick, probably similar to a Pit Minion. So it's really rather slim. It's very, very flexible. We do some Bible yoga there. And look at the text. It's really, really pleasant. Really nice to look at. It has that nice poetic layout again, sort of centrally aligned. Has bold chapter headings. It does have some running headers across the top as well. It's black letter text, so there's no red letter here. It does have some footnotes about renderings and translations and things like that. Do excuse me. So it's really rather nice. Now, the margins perhaps aren't as generous as some of the others that we've seen, but nevertheless, it's a beautiful wide margin. So if you like the NRSV, or you'd like to give one a go, there will be one listed on the Burton Bibles Cambridge Outlet eBay page very, very shortly. Now, as I look at my stock on the shelves, in terms of wide margins, I do have a hardback as well. This is a hardback NIV. So again, if you're a fan of that 1984 text layout, which is ubiquitous with the NIVs of that time, then check that out. That will be nice and cheap because there's no box with it, but there is a little slip of information with it. So check that out on eBay. And what's here? Let's have a look. We do have another NIV here, which is Cabra bonded leather. Now, this is the different NIV. So this is not the Pit Minion. You can tell that from the way the centre column references are justified. So this will be the same as that Art Gilt page edge one, which was here. So that will be the same as this one. So, yeah, there's some variety. There's three different sort of styles of NIV that you can go for. So do check everything out on eBay. And if you want something, one of the more modern wide margin styles that you can, maybe you can still buy them. I think you can. I've got two more NASBs and I've got another ESV as well. I believe the NKJV, I think that's still in print. The ESV and NASB are in print, but the NIV, of course, I don't think is in print by Cambridge anymore. So you may well want to check these out and get them while you can still get them. So I hope that was kind of useful and interesting just to look at these beautiful wide margin Bibles. Great for taking notes in. If you can snap one up cheap enough, they're even good for using as like a journaling Bible. That's how I'm using my ESV wide margin. I had a nice goatskin one, but unfortunately there was lots of markings on it and somebody had filled in the presentation page. Now I do have some blank presentation pages that I can put in with these that could be used if you wanted one. There's a blank one there, but it was kind of beyond selling really, so I just decided to use it myself and fill in the margins and see how it took, do some pen tests on there, see how it took to various different inks. So there's a few ideas for you. Please do like the video and subscribe to the channel, and do subscribe to the newsletter on the Burton Bibles website. That's where you will get sort of preemptive stock reports, and when I go down to Cambridge and get new stock, things like that. And do keep your eye on the eBay page. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook as well. If you've got any questions at all, if you want to ask me anything, please do email mark@BurtonBibles. Just be aware that this is a spare time venture. I fit this in around my family life, my church life, my full-time work life. So just bear that in mind. Same goes for any eBay communications as well. just to cut me some slack on that. So there you go, guys. Stay tuned for more coming soon on the channel. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.